Chilekupu Obugo Kerelu Kala. I na Torogo Mamma. The Bendem Garangamugua. Obunde Shila Rapid Television. Abia Kamano Labum Paretoka. Kamano Labum I from Basaru Melala. Madashi Chilekupu, Jibia Lejuala. Nam Shobiarangamabia Bulem, Younger Lampu Apply Lazo. O Bojila in the Janabata. Oganoje Lanani Jiri Luan Luanani Oganada Njida Nabatawe Oganojila in the Janabata behind and Mashi Chile Kupu Mbabiarua Many of Jagawe Toji Tatama. I get Toji Tatudo. I get Toji Tato Galihi. O get a state ma. O get a Nigerian ma. Na Hankenna. Lankopara. Lankemonso. Amen.
As the sun rises, so do we rise from the east. Eastern Circle.
Very good morning to you and welcome to Eastern Circle. Of course, my name is Michael Odemina and I have Ada here with me. Good morning to you, Ada.
Good morning and welcome to another beautiful episode of Eastern Circle. It's a beautiful morning.
Quite a beautiful morning, of course. And yeah, on the front burner this morning, of course, I think we should just get started. But in Igbo culture, as far as Igbo culture is concerned, one of the very revered institutions or concepts would be the traditional stew of any community. And at the same time, that same concept of the traditional stew is also most times controversial and laden with a lot of issues surrounding it, sometimes power tussle, sometimes, issue of selection and legitimacy and all of that. And that's currently what we're saying in Arochukwu Kingdom as at the moment. So, and that's going to be forming part of our conversation this morning. And of course, we'll let you know we'll be having a guest virtually, of course, joining us to make sense of this whole situation, because there's a shocking issue that became a trend just a couple of hours ago, and it's been all over the place. So we will be talking about shortly. But before we get into that, there's a video we would like you to see shortly. We'll be back.
Avambo Maze Adolphus Wankwo, Secretary General Ibomisi enriched in Arochukwu Kingdom. Obi the Motoku ni Hawaii in the Kuwerezo group ni Ibomisi. Awu Ibomisi ne Kuwerezo group Eze Aro na liogi Ibomisi and whoever na onwiri agara back on ebo me na ni le buwe yoku ayi no ibubuto oku ho gba won oku arunsi obugo kumba onye kwiri amauru tubia o ma. Mazi Godwin Kanu Idei Kanu Koro Kenachi Oyo Koro Oyo Meraidi Levane Kuyo Kwani Orutulia.
Friday. Child, you know, come and sit in anywhere. Not this child, you're working. What is the monta? Oh, oh, why you were on there? Oh, why you were?
Adamazi TV.
Obidianyuto TV Toroka Odi Oto Kumaruni nebedi de wona na mbo na afuya aya na avia na me advertisement aya na azu avia kwa neteto Obidianyuto po Adamazi TV iga nivu o madri na mma ndewo.
Welcome back on Rapid TV, and to the story we are talking about today. The people of Arochukwu in Arochukwu local government area of Abia State has raised alarm over the deployment of the military in Arochukwu Kingdom and at the gate of the palace of Eze Godwin Idei Kanu on the directives of the state government. The people of Arochukwu are accusing the army of trying to kill their king and are calling on the chief of army staff to call his men to order and stay away from the traditional issues of the people.
And of course, to make sense of this conversation this morning, we are being joined virtually by someone who is very close to the throne of Eze Godwin Kanu Idei. I'm talking about Mazi Kanu, who is the communications director to the Eze Godwin Kanu. So glad to have you join us this morning.
Good morning.
Very good morning to you.
Happy to be with you.
Mazi Nawo.
Can you hear us, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, sir. There is a video making rounds the internet of the police being positioned at the entrance of the palace of Godwin Idei Kanu. Would want you to confirm that that is actually happening in Arochukwu Kingdom and in front of the palace.
Yeah, thank you so much. Glad to be with you this morning. Well, as you can see, that video is there. It is not AI generated. It actually happened, and it was the third day on Wednesday, the 11th day of September 2024 in Arochukwu. one will have been a very big casualty was averted. We are still wondering how and why the military came into the picture. We know the military to be a professional institution that has cut out rules of engagement, their duties and responsibilities. We began to wonder how the soldiers were deployed at the gates of His Royal Highness Eze Godwin Kanu Idei the 9th Eze Aro of Arochukwu Kingdom. His gate was locked, part of sand, cement, everything was just used to block that particular gate. And the video will also show you how the military took position in a combat position, ready to unleash mayhem on their enemies. And begin to wonder, are Daros their enemy? Why should the military, the army be there? Why not police? Who authorized that operation? Because we know that the President Ahmed Bola Tinubu is the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and we want to know whether it was the President that authorized that operation, or whether it was the Office of the NSA, or whether it's the Office of Chief of Defense Staff, or Office of the Chief of Army Staff, or Office of the General Officer commanding the 82nd Division of Nigeria Army, or the battalion commander in Ohafia, or the governor, or the local government chairman, or even our senator, Senator Joseph Okalo, or House of Reps representative, or member of House of Assembly representing Arochukwu State constituency, who authorized that operation that will have led to a number of casualties, if not for the movement, the instant intervention of the peaceful, easygoing, intelligent Eze Aro of Arochukwu Kingdom, who told the people not to retaliate, not to confront them. They were battle ready, but one thing is clear: this crowd that was organic were harmless, they were armless, and they were peaceful. Why would you point your gun at the crowd, 5 men or 5 or 6 men lying on the ground there, with the commander standing by the side, ready to give order for them to shoot? Who are you killing? We begin to wonder. The person wants the government to answer, the authorities to answer. Thank you so much.
Can you hear me?
Mazi, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, you didn't get the question. Let me ask again. So you mentioned that the casualty situation was averted, but for the timely intervention of the king himself. So how was the situation finally resolved on that day? How was it resolved?
Well, if you ask me, I don't know whether it's resolved. But it's also good for you to understand the circumstances surrounding the return of the people yesterday. This is a man that has passed through the eyes of the needle. This is a man that has been so assaulted and humiliated by the authorities. This is a man that has been seen as a threat before the authorities, before the institution of government of Abia State. This is a man that was found on the 20th of October 2023. And by 5th of January, he was his palace was invaded by a team of police officers, taken to Omahia, detained for 3 days without food and water and medicals, and then charged to court on the 8th of January. He was granted bail. This man has survived 5 different legal battles. On the 30th of April 2024, his lawsuit Justice Collington Uokorafo squashed the charge of impersonation brought against him by the Abia State government. On the 24th of May, her worship, just somewhat see, also squashed the same of Amahia Magistrate Court, squashed the same issue of impersonation brought against him. On the 30th of July 2024, Justice Chido Wakama of Isochi High Court now granted him on relief and asked the Abia State government, in fact, he asked, he mandated and compelled them to withdraw the staff of office given to Nwama as a pastor, Ebere Chukwu Eniochi. That is not the rightful Eze Aro of Arochukwu Kingdom. Again, on the 31st of March and 1st of April, respectively, men of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLA, invaded the palace, took over the palace, humiliated, assaulted him on the allegation of having planted drugs within the palace. Nothing was found. Because of that, he passed through a lot of trauma. Through the harassment, he had psychological, mental, emotional torture on account of that. He had to seek medical attention outside Arochukwu for the past 5 months plus. And then, having recovered, he took the NDLA to court, Federal High Court in Port Harcourt on 4th of September, granted him relief and asked the NDLA not to invade his privacy of the palace again. So he decided to come back to people because people have been asking, and now people is having their 2024 Irinji festival at this time. His people missed him, and then he came back to the warm embrace of his people on the 11th of September. That was yesterday. It was an organic reception. Nobody was bribed. The people threw out a mask, and then everything was calm. And one thing you need to know about this is, since this particular Fufu Yaya started in Arochukwu, there's no bloodshed, there's no killing, there's no acting, there's no vandalization, there's nothing. There's absolute peace because Aros are very careful in issues of shedding blood. So there was absolute peace, and there was no need for the military to have come into the picture at all. So when the situation happened as it was, just like I explained earlier, the Eze intervened and beseeched the people, the youths, the men and the women, to please retreat. That is not what, leadership is not worth shedding of blood in Arochukwu. He begged them. People were agitated. They were ready to confront and die on account of the invasion and the presence of the military pointing guns at them. But they stood and begged them. What did he do? He had to retreat from the school. He didn't run away. No, he had to retreat. And then had to go to a alternative place to stay for safety. But we don't know who is after him. And that's why I asked the question. Is it the president that wanted to bring him? Because the president is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. If it's not the president, who authorized that operation that saw the military block the roads? And in front of that place is a bank. So people were held hostage inside that bank. The road was blocked. In event of emergency medical, nobody can pass there. Why?
All right,
we are not in one situation.
Mazi, can you hear me?
What's the problem? I don't know how it's been resolved, if it's been resolved. The authorities should tell us if it's been resolved. We don't know, because every person is living in fear. We don't know the next thing that will happen. We don't know what they are up against. That's the situation now.
Mazi Agodi, I know that the Eze Aro stool is a very revered one, and it's deeply rooted in the tradition and culture.
Sorry, I can't hear you at this time.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I said the Eze Aro stool is a very revered one, and it's deeply rooted in the tradition and culture of the Aro kingdom. I know that one of the traditional requirements to be conferred with the title of the Eze Aro is that the person has to be Mazi, which means his father must have joined the ancestors. He can't be one Mazi. But we've seen in this situation that Eze Ebere Chukwu is one Mazi. So how did we get to this point of crowning him an Eze when his father is still alive?
Ada, you answered the question, but let me correct one thing. Nobody crowned him. Government crowned him. Government crowned him. That's why we have the Aro Eze, which is His Majesty, Eze Godwin Kanu Idei, Kanu Idei. And then we have the one that government forcefully installed and gave staff of office. Meanwhile, we don't even need the staff of office for Eze Godwin Kanu Idei to be Eze Aro. His sort of office is an innovation of government for them to assert firm control over traditional institutions, and they use it for manipulative purposes. So how we got to this point is still what the government will answer. Some people are not comfortable with that. I begin to ask the question, why should he come into the picture in the first instance? He shouldn't have come into the picture, but people are very assertive. They want to change the status quo. In fact, let me use the words that some of the people in that camp that should have known better, that we used to have respect for. That's what's called Ugwaru in Aruchukwu. These are men that have been conferred with honor because they've been achievers in some areas of endeavors, or they brought honor to the community. But these people said they want to digitalize Eze Aro. They want somebody who is an international businessman, who is a billionaire, somebody who is a business magnate. That's what they want. And then they forgot that within the Aro traditional institution, we have 3 different kindreds. We have the Ibomisi kindred. We have the Oken-Nachi kindred. The kings come from the Oken-Nachi kindred, represented by Ndoke, ruling family. And then we have the Eze Aro and Okpara kindred. Fine. The Oken-Nachi kindred is supposed to bring out the Eze on the demise of a sitting Eze, which was okay. The last Eze, let Eze Vincent Ogbonnaya Okoro join his ancestors, and then we have the son take over as the Arianzo, as a standing king, because nature abhors vacuum. So a time came that there should be a replacement for the new Eze, and it's incumbent on the ruling family, made up of 3 different households, to bring out the Eze. We have the Ase Okoke ruling house. We have the Kano Okoroke ruling house. We have the Oji Okoroke ruling house. The late sage, Eze Kano is from the Oji Okoroke ruling house. The immediate past or late Eze Aro, Eze Vincent Ogbonnaya Okoro, is from the Asi Okoke ruling house. And then the top one is supposed to be Kanu Okoroke family, represented by His Majesty Eze Godwin Kanu Okoroke. Out. The family are supposed to bring out of these 3 families. They are supposed to bring out somebody. Now, the Eze Okoroke family said they are bringing somebody from Kanu Okoroke family, which is 2. And then this one Akebere is standing alone under the Oji Okoro family. So the question is 2-1. Why should there be struggle? And even if somebody is supposed to come for it and begin to vie for that position, certainly it's not one Maze Pakopere Oji, because his father is still alive. It is an aberration for some people that felt about some level of outflames in Aruchukwu, who feel that they are the kingmakers, emerging kingmakers, feel that the status quo should be dropped, and then they come over to the digitalized aspect of Eze Aro, who says so. And of course, government brought into their lives, stepped in, took control of some situation, which we have records of everything. It's not supposed to be so. The governor was misled into aligning with those people that are telling him, selling lies to him. I have to exonerate him at a point, because what they told him is what he's buying into. But if you ask me and ask the governor one-on-one, I'm sure the governor knows the truth. Right inside his heart, he knows the truth. That he took a wrong decision to have presented Maze Kanu Idei, and the rightful person is Godwin Kanu Idei. And the question is, why should he not be Godwin Kanu Idei? They've not provided any answer. Why should he not be Godwin Kanu Idei? So that's just a summary of what you're talking about. But let me also go to another intrigue that actually played out in the course of this. When it was time, Ndi Oken-Nachi felt that a king should emerge. And of course, there was a slight delay from Ndi Oke family, made up of these 3 ruling houses. They tried to make effort, and a committee was set up by Utu Ugu Because the major problem in the ruling house is the family of Ojoko Roke. You have brothers there trying to kill themselves, a Ebere's father and then Oji Kanu. So the Togo committee set up a committee to reconcile them so they can be able to bring out a king. And that committee exceeded their mandate by now usurping the power of Ndioke to say they are going to present Eze Aro. And that's just a part of it. But the other part of it is this. It's a 7-man committee. And this 7-man committee, I can mention their names to you so that for record purpose you have them. One is Mazi Lawson Obati, who was the chairman, Mazi Kanu Idei, a member, Mazi Dochijoke, who said is the president of Okenachi Kindred, Mazi Kemokoro, Mazi Ugochukwu Okorafo, Mazi Azubi Kokoro, and Justice Ayele Ochonwuchekwa retired. Now, everything was concluded. His Majesty was living outside Nigeria. They compelled him to come back 2 different times for him to come and take what rightfully belonged to him. His Majesty came back, and then it was for them to present him formally. All of a sudden, the story changed. And when the story changed, you know, when they begin to get long and begin to change, you know that something is actually wrong. So at that point in time, our legend, very great gentleman, a man of honor, Mazi Lawson Obati, decided to step aside and resign from that committee. They are left with 6 people. And then they continued their deliberations. On a day that Eze was supposed to be presented, all of a sudden, from the blues, Muhammad Ebere emerged in the scene. And it was, where have you been? You've not been part of this process all this while. So why are you here?
Now, Mazi Agodi, if you can hear me, sorry to butt in there. We're pressed for time, but I know from the foregoing, it was said, just like gladly you mentioned the 7-man panel that was set up, because Mazi Chikwe Udensi was here about a month ago on this same matter, and he also mentioned that he spearheaded a committee that tried to make peace as well. But to get a hang of this, what is your principal ready to do next? What is his next move as where we stand now? What is he planning to do next? If it comes to the point where we need to come back to the negotiation table, of course, based on what the culture and tradition says, is he going to do that? Does he have a different plan of action going forward based on what is on ground at the moment?
Well, Michael, thank you so much. This question, this question is very clear. There is no need for negotiation because there won't be need for that. Decision has been taken. After 3 ruling families, 2 said we stand with this man and 1 is standing alone, is a majority. There is no need for that. There is no need for negotiation whatsoever. Culturally, he has been crowned. Legally, he has rulings, court rulings and other that is on his side. So he's actually not in contention with anybody. He doesn't have needs to negotiate with anybody. I mean, you don't negotiate with greedy people that wants to change the culture of Aro Kingdom. You don't negotiate with people that wants to smuggle in. The match is already playing, and then you want to shift the goalpost and use your hand to score. It's not possible. So we are not ready for any kind of negotiation. The only negotiation is that government can compensate Ebere with appointments, or they can give him anything they want and then send him back to his job to continue. But for His Majesty, 85% of arrows are with him, and it's not negotiable. And there are some things you don't negotiate. You can only negotiate from a standpoint of disadvantage. But this time, everything is for us. He is the crown Eze of Aro Kingdom. That's,
okay. So what are your words to the Aro Chukwu people who at this moment, most of them are afraid, most of them are confused? What are your final words? What would you say to them at this moment?
Thank you so much. First of all, I have to tell the government to do the right thing. This is our brother, is our son, is our father. I mean, there's nothing wrong if one makes a mistake can discover that you made a mistake, you will trace your step. There is no need to continue this. That's for the government. And then to ask the heads who have been making inflammatory and denial, statements, embarrassing statements, to stop that, because they're not from Arochukwu, they're not well informed, they're disinforming and misinforming the people. That's one. And then to the Arochukwu people, it's for them to just be prayerful. The battle is over as far as we are concerned. There's nothing to fight for. The Eze is on the throne. Let them be prayerful, because this cup shall surely pass. His temptation that is coming at his own time is a challenge that wasn't anticipated for the people. The power of the people is the voice of God and the power of God. God has ordained there is a process of an Eze to emerge from Arochukwu kingdom, and that process has been completely adhered to and concluded. There is nothing else. Let them feel free. The presence of the security men in Aro is but for a while. We are addressing that particular matter at some level. We have the court judgment in our favor, and then we also have the traditional institution and kingmakers on our side. The people on our side. You need to see, you saw the generic and organic followership that turned out yesterday to welcome him. That will show you. I mean, you don't need to go down.
Mazi Godwin, are you there? Okay, we seem to have lost him.
All right, thank you. We believe you can hear us. Thank you so much, Mazi Godwin Kanu, for joining us on today's episode.
You're moving around.
Thank you so much, Mazi, for joining us on today's episode of Eastern Circle. We'll call on you some other time so we can continue on this particular issue about the Eze-ship of the Arochukwu kingdom.